Ever feel like you're making mistakes in the garden without realising it at the time, only to regret them months later? Well, imagine if someone had already made the mistakes for you so that you don't have to suffer them yourself. That's me. In this video, I'm going to share 3 common March gardening mistakes that could make your season harder, and most importantly, how to avoid them so that your garden thrives. If you want less stress and better results this year, keep watching. Hey everyone, how's it going? And welcome back. We are so used to being told what to do in the garden this month, but not so much on what not to do or what not to miss out on. And that's equally as important. Each month, there are some common gardening mistakes that can just make the months ahead so much harder. And trust me, I've made them all. So whether you're a beginner gardener or an experienced gardener with years of growing prowess, let's talk mistakes. This gardening mistake is actually quite personal to me because it's a mistake that I'm endlessly guilty of and it weighs on my mind. It's getting overwhelmed. If there's one thing to stamp on the happy buzz of gardening, overwhelm will do that. In gardening, it creeps up on you. One minute you're happily sowing loads of seeds, the next you're drowning in seedlings that need pricked out, potting on, hardening off, planted out, watering, and suddenly what started as a joy and an excitement feels like a stress. I'm willing to bet that I'm not the only one that feels that. The best way to deal with overwhelm? Avoid it in the first place. And I know that sounds trite, but think ahead before you sow trays of seeds. Ask yourself 3 questions. 1, do I have the space to prick all of these seedlings out and pot them on? 2, do I have the time to care for them properly? And 3, do I actually need this many plants? For example, let's say you just sow 1 small tray of seedlings like this and you prick just 18 of them out into 7.5 centimetre pots like this. This is what it looks like. That's already quite a bit of space and compost. Scale that up and suddenly your greenhouse polytunnel or windowsill is bursting. It's the same for flower beds and raised beds. Every bit of bare ground becomes something that you need to maintain. You might need to weed it or mulch it or water it. Like I've got 16 raised beds here, and even if I rush, I can't weed each bed faster than 30 minutes. So weeding alone takes me at least 8 hours for the guild garden. So again, before you create a new bed or area in your garden, ask yourself, do I have the time and the energy to stay on top of it? So remember, March is the time to step back and think ahead. What can you realistically manage without turning gardening into a chore? A little bit of ruthlessness now is going to mean a smoother and happier season later, and a garden that's just more fun and less frustration. This mistake seems simple, but trust me, it is one of the biggest regrets that gardeners have later in the year, and it seems so obvious. I'm talking about labelling plants and keeping really good plant records. And before you roll your eyes, yes, I know that it seems so simple and obvious, but please stick with me. I have definitely been that person that thought, oh, I'll remember what that is, and then promptly forgot. And if you're honest, I bet that you have done this at least once yourself too. But the reason that I'm talking about this is that it goes way beyond just labelling plants and knowing what's in each pot that you have. Here's the problem. Gardening is a long game. You don't always see the impact of what you've done until months or even years later. And by then, if you don't have notes, you've actually lost the chance to learn and develop. For example, if you plant a crop and it does badly, but you can't remember what conditions it had, how can you fix that mistake in future years? Or if you plant perennials and you don't label them, you might dig them up by accident before spring happens and before they emerge. I have been that person. If you experiment with different sowing dates, but don't write them down, you lose a golden opportunity to fine-tune your timings for the next year. The easiest way to stop this happening? Do just two things. Firstly, label everything. Even if you think you're going to remember, trust me, you won't. Make sure that everything you sow has a really good quality label. I use these nice black plastic ones with a white enamel marker. And don't just write down the name, write down the date or the year as well. Also, keep a basic garden journal. It doesn't have to be fancy. A simple notebook or notes app will do. Just jot down sowing dates, planting conditions, or anything else that you think that's significant. Last month, I talked about cutting hedges back really hard, like the beech hedge here. I've done that, and now I've taken photos and noted it down to see how long it's going to take to bounce back. But one of the nicest ways to record stuff in the garden is to use your smartphone to take a photo or a video. It's going to record the image. Your Photos app will keep them organised by date, location, whatever you need. And this is like an automatic garden journal. I made a video on this and why I record 5 seconds of video every day in the garden up here. Now, March is a great time to start this habit. It might feel like an extra step, but future you will thank you when you're making better gardening decisions every single year. Have you got a gardening mistake for April that you think everybody needs to know about? And do you fancy possibly having that as part of my next month's mistake video? Well, all you need to do is leave a comment down below with your big gardening mistake and how you would avoid it. I'll pick the best for next month, and your mistake might just make it into my April video. March is all about getting the timing right, and that's where I see a lot of gardeners slipping up. But don't worry, it doesn't have to be difficult. At this time of year, I see two big mistakes. Number one, planting tender crops that little bit too early and then watching them either flounder or just get completely wiped out by frost. And two, holding on to hardy crops for too long, keeping them unnecessarily protected, whether it's under glass or in a polytunnel or on a windowsill. Let's talk tender plants first. If you're sowing tomatoes, chilies, courgettes, etc., they cannot handle frost. So putting tender plants out too soon means that they're going to sulk, maybe be stunted, or just completely die. They either sit there just doing nothing, or worse, they turn to mush overnight. That's why you need to know your last frost date for your locality. So a quick tip from me, head across to Google and search last frost date and your location. You can find brilliant maps that will show you the average last frost date for your area. That's a guideline for when it's then safe to plant your plants out. But remember, do also take a little bit of time to observe your own garden. If your garden, like mine, is in a bit of a frost pocket or on a hill, give it another couple of weeks past that last frost date, just to be safe. On the flip side, people, myself included, also tend to cosset their hardy plants that bit too much, wrapping them almost literally up in cotton wool. I've got cabbage seedlings, chard seeds sown, and broad beans. They're all in my greenhouse at the moment. But the minute that the weather warms, they need to get outside. And there are two reasons for this. For starters, cool weather plants can actually be quite sensitive to hot weather. So imagine that first lovely, warm, sunny spring day and imagine the temperatures in your greenhouse. A spike in temperature can lead particularly things like brassicas to bolt. That's where they shoot up, flower and become tough and bitter. Not to mention that it's just more little plants to keep watered in the greenhouse. So avoid the temptation to keep your hardy plants growing in the greenhouse too long, thinking that you're doing them a favour. When the conditions are suitable, get them out and get them into the ground. A good rule of thumb, harden hardy plants so that they don't get too soft and pampered indoors. On the flip side, for tender plants, be patient. It's better to plant them a little bit too late than too early and then end up losing them. March is all about knowing what can handle the cold and what can't. Timing is everything. So there you have it, 3 common March gardening mistakes and how to avoid them. Don't let overwhelm steal your enjoyment. Get your planting timings right and make sure to label and record everything. It's worth it. Check out this video here because it's going to be perfect for you right now. My list of 5 great plants to sow and grow in March to give you colour, flavour and scent. And until next time, see you later.